Welcome, everybody, to the Journeymen Lounge podcast.
You better be praying to God because, you're 14 and losses in a row. You're going to need Jesus.
Am I wrong?
I thought you were pretty wrong, yeah. I am a robot.
Beep, boop, beep.
Welcome to the Journeymen Lounge podcast.
Fuck you, JD.
I am your host, Woj. This guy is your other host.
I am R2D2. I'm just kidding. I am Ryan.
And
I'm pretty much the Han Solo of the group.
just didn't commit to the bit of robot
well, you guys
voices.
are,
Okay.
what, C-3PO and R2-D2. I'm Han Solo.
I mean,
Or Bobby. I mean,
Bobby, in no way, shape, or form.
More
are
like
you-
Jar Jar Binks.
Oh,
Misa looking like Bobby.
See, I wouldn't give myself the Luke Skywalker because I'm more into the whole idea of Han Solo and what he provides and puts on
any
the
Star
table.
Wars fans out there know that is a tremendous
burn,
diss to
yeah.
be called Jar Jar.
Well,
Binks.
being C-3PO is, I think,
C-3PO
right
is
next to
bad,
it.
but
Yeah.
not as bad as Jar Jar. All right.
I'm gonna drown you in my fucking underwater palace. That's what I'm gonna do.
Misa very scared.
I'll kick you into the ocean. You're good.
So
there goes your electronics.
the Journeyman Lounge, we're back at it. We're gearing up. We got some,
That was good though.
the draft, NFL draft is coming up a couple of weeks, so it's gonna be some dope shit. NBA playoffs, I think it has the potential to be real dog shit because of what we had been talking about. We'll just take 2 seconds on the Bulls. So the Bulls are in the play-in tournament for sure. They could, I guess, improve their seed, I believe, up, or honestly, I don't fact check. I think the Eastern Conference might be actually set, and then they have to go and play Miami, who they just played yesterday. So it's like to the play-in tournament, it's like, okay, you win that, and then you have to go up against a 1 seed.
Yeah, no, they're one and done. We know this.
I mean, I think if they lose in the play-in tournament, probably expected. They might win in the play-in tournament, get bounced out first round. So that's kind of
Always what happens.
it's kind of what I'm expecting.
Yeah, I put that on our projection.
I mean, one thing I do want to just kind of mention in terms of the NBA, and it's very baffling. Memphis and Denver both fired their coaches with 2 weeks left in the season.
Really? I did not hear that news.
Both teams are in the playoffs.
Especially Denver.
I
Denver's
don't
been doing well, yeah.
I don't really understand why they did it. I wouldn't be shocked if something came out later that hey, this is the reason that we were doing it. I think it's an odd timing. That being said, just to kind of mirror that to the Bulls is I think Billy did a great job in the second half of the season, but my point still remains the same. Billy is not a guy, even with he's elected to the Basketball Hall of Fame, great college coach, phenomenal college coach. I just think that, again, he's not the guy that's going to be in 3 years from now taking the Bulls to the promised land. So at this point, I go, you might as well cut ties with him after this year. Now, even more so, I don't think that they're going to do it. I think they're going to extend him, or I don't know his contract situation, but I mean,
What I guess, do you have any alternative in the back pocket?
I mean, you just do. There's a lot of coaches always out there. There's guys on there's assistant coaches that are always
Hungry,
available
sure.
to get a head coaching job, and you can do it, and you can roll the dice. I mean, what's the you said, the alternative? Maybe they get us out of the fucking play-in tournament and actually into the playoffs without having to do that. I think the potential is there, and Billy Donovan has just plateaued. It's the same shit year after year. Doesn't matter who he's fucking has. You could have DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine. You can have all this talent. You're still sitting right there at the middle. It's to me, it's time.
I just didn't know if you had another coach or name in mind
No,
of
not
hey, he would be a good fit.
Well, now fucking Taylor Jenkins, Mike Malone. These are guys that are fucking great coaches.
There has to be a
Options
story.
available.
There has to be a story though.
What do you got, Ryan?
It's hard to say. I mean, I kind of agree with you, but then again, they've been playing so well lately, so it's like you said, you're kind of
But is that
all right,
Billy?
I don't know.
Is that Billy?
Or is it the fact, or is it maybe now that Zach LaVine's gone, he can actually coach the team finally? maybe Zach LaVine was that much of a problem. Look at Sacramento; they've been not doing, I don't think, that well, right? Or have they?
No,
they're
middle
terrible.
of the road.
Terrible.
And I
team.
think the locker room thing is kind of an issue there as well.
Well, Sacramento also fired their coach in the middle of the year.
Right. So I don't know. I mean, like, Billy
Should we put our
Donovan.
resumes out there? Shit, dude.
Like he said, Billy Donovan's a Hall of Famer. I mean, he won 2 titles with Florida in college, and he was a great coach on the Thunder when he was there.
I got a real problem, with the basketball Hall of Fame
I got
being
a
that
real
it's
It's all bad.
all encompassing.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Should be a college basketball Hall of Fame.
I agree.
Professional basketball.
Yeah,
Agreed.
and like an international.
Wait, I didn't know they were
one.
connected.
They're
Wow.
combined.
Jeez.
So-
Yeah, I agree.
Put some yellow tape
But
on
I
there.
mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know what his contract situation is. If there's like maybe like a year left on it,
Let's just hypothesize. Okay,
I might
there's
be
a year
curious to
left.
see that play out.
Okay.
Because, was it like 3 years ago when we had DeMar, Zach, and like you said, we were a number 4 seed or something
For a time.
and when Lonzo was rolling, we were like right up there for a long time.
They were in the hunt for a long, not in the hunt, but they were firmly in the playoffs,
Yeah.
and then they had a skid, and then they fell into the.
I mean, I just like what we're seeing right now with the group and the way they're flowing. I don't know. I don't know if that's because of Billy Donovan, how much he has to do with that or not. But I guess like you said, like kind of like Bobby said though, like depends on the replacement who we're bringing in, because there was a time where the Bulls did this with Thibodeau, where he was fucking awesome and he had one kind of. Or he didn't even a bad year, just kind of like you said, plateaued, where it was like he's just not doing the same thing. We're a middle seed, we're always great in the regular season, then we would lose.
Right.
They'd be tired and whatever. But then they bring in Fred Hoiberg, who was horrible. So it was like, and Tom Thibodeau is still a good coach. Granted, he kind of has the same problems wherever he goes somewhat, but they always play play hard and whatever. So maybe, again, unless the replacement we know for sure is like, I mean, it's hard to know for sure, but unless you're
I just think that
fairly certain.
the options that are out there are you could go out, get a coach, a veteran coach, guys that have had experience in the playoffs and could maybe figure out a right rotation, because Patrick Williams is playing phenomenal off the bench. I think he's going to be a career bench guy, which is fine. Now, not for the price that we paid him.
Not for the Bulls, yeah.
But I'm just saying, though, is like these are decisions and stuff like that you should see a head coach making, but not with 12 games left in the year, 15. It's this thing of like Billy has a very shitty problem with decisive decisive
Let's
plays.
wrap up the Bulls, though. We get
Okay,
it.
well,
Yeah.
just not in the middle of what I'm fucking trying to get out, but there you go. But like he doesn't have that decisive factor to go like, we need to get we need a bucket right now, draw up this play, gonna go to him. He's just kind of very Eberflusy.
Like passive coaching.
Yeah, just like, okay, if they get it, great. If they don't. But again, I just will say if Billy goes next year, great. If he stays, I'm kind of with you, Ryan. Like, let's see what he has. But
yeah, I mean, let's not if he's under contract, might as well just play it
I
out.
mean, yeah.
I'm kind of on Ryan's,
I could
boat
see
right
it.
now.
I'm firmly believing that the Bulls are gonna lose in the play-in tournament, lose in the playoffs. Like,
But that's
there's
not-
no chance.
That's
of
not
them.
all Billy Donovan's fault. That's the roster he's got that the GM, Artie or what was it, AK and the other guy Eversley put together.
I
Like,
mean, not having Lonzo is a very big part of that. If he's healthy, I think the Bulls team looks a lot different. But it still remains to be seen is that Vucevic is not a fucking
Get
good.
rid of him.
He's not a good center. He has no
Right.
no inside presence.
No defense.
He's a fucking liability defensively, and he can't rebound. Like, you're the biggest guy on the floor,
Well, so I'm
and
sa- yeah.
Josh Giddey is out rebounding you.
yeah, that's and they're the ones who traded for him. They invested in him,
Right.
So and they're the ones who did not trade him this year.
I'm just saying, of all the people that to be traded, I thought Vooch was easily first one off the team to go. We're not getting the production that we paid for.
I
So we
agree.
need to get somebody else in there. But let's move on. We'll obviously get some more Bulls updates as they
Yeah.
become available. Next week we could be saying, well, we fucking told you so. So let's stay on basketball, though. So NCAA tournament, March Madness just wrapped up.
Hell yeah.
Bobby, why don't you take it away?
Yeah, we. I was telling everyone, I think this is in a prior podcast, but I was part of a work bracket tournament, and there was 150 people, as part of this pool, and your boy here won. I had Houston against the Gators, and Gators pulling off the win. I had 7 out of the 8 Elite 8, which I was, kind of impressed with because St. John's really, kicked my teeth.
As long as you rolled with the number one seeds.
And I kind of did. I was like, there's that logic. So maybe that kind of takes away a little bit of the fun of the tournament, but there's still that, chance of 3, a 4, a 5, it's possible. It's there for the taking if they have the skill set. But yeah, Houston imploding in the last 10 minutes of a game. I don't think that ever happened in any other championship game where you're up by, I think, 12 and you had possession and you end up losing.
Yeah, I think Houston was the stats definitely show that Houston was they got to 32 wins or whatever the fuck they were based on their defense, and their offense I feel like was just like it's adequate enough. If the other team scores 48 points and all you need to do is score 49, I think they didn't really have a bona fide we need a bucket, we're going to this guy right here.
Right, no,
yeah, go ahead.
No, but I'll say this, for the first half and the trickling into the second, they were utilizing what the Gators were giving them in terms of they were trying to trap the one, star player from Houston, and they just, all right, I'll find someone down low, and they were getting buckets. They're uncontested buckets, and even if they missed, Florida couldn't get a rebound to save their soul. That whole first half, I think it was so one-sided in terms of rebound or follow-ups on the shots. Like, that's one thing that really bothers me, even the NBA and colleges. You take a shot, follow up on your shot. You don't know it's going in. I'm just saying it takes 1 second. If it hits the front of the rim, you're already there catching it, putting in for a quick bucket.
I mean, everybody should be rebounding. That's what coaches tell you from day one is that.
But everyone just sits and
shot
watches.
Goes up and goes. I mean, again, I think it's much more in college that they actually find somebody and box out. But I would just say Florida won that game strictly off of just fight dog.
Yeah, dog.
Hey man, we're fucking gonna play scrappy. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this.
And there was no fouls called at all for the first half, and then there was 6 within the first 2 minutes of the second half of the game.
Yeah,
so
it was kind of like
it was really weird.
It was teeter totter of fouls being called or whatever. But again, it comes down to the last 2 possessions. Houston doesn't even register a shot. I mean, Florida just kind of gritted it out, and hey, you're a champion. It's pretty cool. And as I said this on the previous podcast, I really enjoy that Florida won. It wasn't just like a Duke ass kicking the entire way, and they won the championship by 12. So it was it's awesome to see Houston and Florida in there, 2 teams I never would have picked. And then honestly, Florida, who was definitely the underdog of the last 4 teams. It's dope to see them win.
Right.
Thoughts, Ryan?
Yeah, well, from what I saw from the Florida games, is they would just kept, they would always be down in the first half, but kind of just hanging around,
He's laying in the weeds.
Right, they got it within 10 at most, or somewhere in there. And then the second half, they just kind of lull them to sleep and just start coming back. And usually it was with that Clayton guy. But he was struggling in the final game. They shut him down
for 18 minutes.
Yeah, 18
straight.
minutes. He had 2 points, I saw. So the fact that Florida still won and hung in there without him doing anything, I was pretty amazed by. Because you figure if he does what he was doing the last, the whole tournament, basically, they would have blown him out or whatever.
They found that he was the X factor and literally eliminated him. It was actually, that's a good observation. The moment they took him out, they started going on a run. They took out their number 1 scorer, and now I don't think Houston really had an answer because they had another guard who was good enough, but he was able to feed people, and they were able to really get some momentum going. So that was, and then they brought him back in. But I was like, dude.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, talking about blown leads, how about Duke blowing the lead against Houston in the semifinal, up by 7 with a minute left, and they lost.
Unreal.
That was
bad. I mean, again, I'm not.
It was bad. I'm
not gonna give Duke an excuse, but the refs call
on Cooper flag.
Cooper flag foul. Houston shoots 2 points, kind of the difference. I'm not going to put the entire thing on there. Obviously, Duke kind of let that game go. But overall, I just think that, this is clearly this entire year, as you got into the Elite 8, it's just a lot of, teams of, not bad basketball play, but just, wasn't, oh, my God, tremendous play from this guy. Or whatever. That Clayton guy had he had some pretty impressive performances. And Cooper Flag, I think, was pretty good overall.
And the one guy in Texas Tech was pretty good.
Yes.
And the one guy in Texas Tech, but overall in the Elite 8, a lot of games were okay, like 6-point win. You're just kind of like, it wasn't fantastic. Like, wasn't a come from behind victory until the last two.
The
Final
championship
four.
game had horrible possessions. They were not well played. There wasn't any there was no rhythm. There was no structure. They were just running over there, taking some random shot from 40 feet out and hoping it goes. It's like
65-63 is a shit basketball. NCAA basketball.
No,
story.
college is usually low scoring.
No, but not that
low scoring, but not in the championship. Championships are
it's
usually
140s or higher.
in the 70s.
Yeah.
I would say is pretty average.
That's still low.
I don't fact check, but it's.
I think
I'm just saying when you
this
when
would
you
be
get
one
to
of the lower.
60s, and again you'd see the stats of like L.J. Cryer, who was the Houston main
stud,
guy.
yeah.
He was 4 for 15.
Right.
Clayton Jr. was like 3 for 19 or something.
No, not even. He didn't even get 19 shots off. They shut
I'm
him
just
down.
saying,
But yeah,
like,
I get you. Yeah,
they both had terrible percentages. Again, I'm glad that Florida won. It's cool.
yeah, it was a big win for
Shaq.
us, and I got green fees for these guys for them. To,
Yeah, well, one of the Journeyman Lounge outings will
excited.
definitely. Bobby will be picking up the greens fees, but we'll probably buy him a
We'll
couple
get in
soda
some
pops
beers.
or something like that.
Sounds fair.
Excuse me. Anything final before we go?
I just want to say this is like the most I've watched a tournament in some time
Sure.
because we had the TV in the back at work now, so I can like glance up while I'm making
Get some
pizzas.
skin in the game at this point.
So no, and it was actually I really enjoyed watching the tournament this year. I didn't watch any college basketball like the entire year besides like some Illinois games.
Okay.
But but I did enjoy watching the tournament. It was kind of exciting. The games that I saw that were on mostly, so like from the Elite Eight on or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to say that was I enjoyed watching it.
I'll say this though, and question is shot out of the cannon. If Duke beats Houston, does Duke trounce Florida?
I think so.
I think so too.
Because I said it before, like Cooper Flagg, probably the best player in college basketball, but obviously then probably also the best big man also. And to me, Florida struggled with the big guys defensively.
Yeah, they.
So
couldn't-
I feel like he would have torched them probably.
Florida had a big center, but he played like a tiny
they
dude.
were like offensive centers. They could shoot and stretch the floor and like
But
cut.
yeah, not
but
defensively there.
every time, every game, like I was telling you guys, like Auburn, Texas Tech, they were like whatever basket that guy who's playing power forward or center wanted to get, they could just go post
just
him
get
up
it to him. Yeah.
and just get it. And for some reason, eventually, obviously, Florida figured out whatever. But like at least in the first halves of games, they were just getting torched by that. And I think Cooper Flagg would have his way with them.
I think Duke is just a more rounded team.
Agreed.
And I think defensively they would have been like, we're not letting Clayton beat us.
Right.
Double him, pressure up the ass. And I don't think that the other guys of Florida would have been able to overcome. Even though the other guy of Florida still scored like 19 points or whatever, I still think though that again the Dukies, what are they called? Blue Devils. The Devils
Dukies
would have. I don't think trounced because it's the championship game, but definitely I think you would have been like they won that game.
probably like a 10-point.
7-8,
Yeah.
something like that. But yeah, I mean, again, college basketball, I would say I enjoyed the part where I won some money, so that's A-okay. He liked watching it. Bobby won some money, so
Yeah.
good stuff. We'll do more stuff with that next year. Maybe we'll get a little bit more invested in college basketball during the season, going up to it. But overall, we're going to switch gears. We're going to do the album review, which this was Bobby's, right?
Yeah, this is mine. Before we get into the Sublime, self-titled Sublime album, we'll be at Medinah with AJ. He was one of our podcast guests this weekend, so wish me luck. I'll be all over. I'm probably going to have some Army golf, but we'll figure it out. So I'm excited. I'll take some photos, maybe a video or two to try to capture the experience. This is a private membership club that Woj lives like 2 minutes from, but it's gorgeous setting. The clubhouse itself is unreal. I'm really excited for it because we're getting there 2 hours earlier before our tea time. They got, the steam room, like massages. Like it's a spa experience before you even go and tee off. So it's pretty awesome.
That's included?
Yeah. You're a member. You paid for so the member we're going with, he could be like, hey, these guys, all right, done. Because he has an account and you have to spend so much a month. But yeah, he's like, it's not going to be a problem.
Damn.
And I'm going to see JT's, Justin Thomas's locker. I'm going to be like 3 away from his. So
I went to the one pro course, the public one, Or used to be a pro one. The one that Rocco Media and Tiger Woods played at, that one famous, I forgot, the one in Illinois. I forgot what it's called.
Is it Deer Run?
Cog Hill.
Cog Hill.
Cog Hill.
Thank you. Yes, that's the one. That was a blast.
Cog Hill that's a tough course. So yeah, a little bit of that, and we have the Masters going on. We're not going to get into that right now, but over the weekend, I'm excited to see.
We can at least mention that the Masters, the first round just concluded. Justin Rose
played lights out,
solid -7 or some shit like that. But I mean, I think
DeChambeau is looking real good.
DeChambeau, Scotty Scheffler, and everybody had a lot of like, oh, this is Rory's time. He's playing real well.
2 double bogeys on 15 and 17.
Played like
and
shit,
it hurt Woj. He had a for sure thing going.
I mean, it was
pretty
like
much.
$15, but I was still like watching
still,
it. I was like,
$15.
how do you double? Like, I can do this shit, man. I can hit a ball into the fucking rough, and then I can hit the ball over
and
the
skull
green.
it over the green.
Then I can chip it 20 feet away. Then I can miss that putt. Then I can miss that other putt. Like, I was like, and this is something that a lot of people watching golf, and you see a million of like memes and shit like that of like, getting ready to sit on my couch and tell these professional golfer that he sucks ass. Well, as a Costanza in the lounge with the chair,
chair that has the
fridge,
built-in fridge. Summer of George, yeah.
But again, I can sit there and go like, I could do that. Like, you could double bogey.
Oh, I guarantee I could double bogey.
And I just look at it like, I don't know if it's unfounded, but like, I feel like professionals, like, there's a guy that shot +17 today, and I'm like, that he probably had like a bad day, right? Did whatever, wasn't dialed in. I think that's unacceptable though.
If you're double digits, essentially.
If you're a professional, I'm thinking that like you should be even on the toughest courses in the world. And it didn't seem like there was too many factors like weather and
weather was right.
Like wind was maybe there a little bit, but like overall, I'm kind of like, how the fuck are people? Augusta is one of the most challenging courses for sure. I think I hold a higher standard of just like you're +17, you double bogey. There's multiple guys that double bogeyed. I'm like, this is kind of odd.
That's the one thing I worry about DeChambeau is you got to mitigate those blow-up holes. I think he has a real chance of winning this if he could just, keep it on the short and narrow. So we'll see. A lot of great competitors. Brooks didn't have a lot of live golfers did not do well. And I have an idea on why that is. I think it's the less repetition because they're getting paid a lot of money to just do 2 or 3 days instead of 4 because you have 2 days instead of 3 because it goes Thursday. 4. Sorry, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and clean up on Sunday. They do 3 for most of their tournaments, and they're already getting paid a shit ton. So winning it really doesn't add too much to their purse. So, anywho, let's get into Sublime, the self-titled album Sublime. Just to get into it a little bit, this was released July 30th, 1996 by MCA Records. It's sold over. It's 5 million initial in the U.S., but at this point, they sold over 11 million albums of this album, Sublime. And it really introduced, I think this is kind of a shift. How we had the new metal with Korn. This was like kind of the American ska, beach, almost like Beach Boy vibes, but like grown up.
This is firmly in reggae ska.
Reggae ska.
Which is a specific lane, but I think overall it does... It was popular enough. It's like a pretty popular California. They're from California?
Yeah, California, yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of them, grew up in Long Beach or, at any rate. Sadly, Bradley Nile, who is one of the lead singers of Sublime, he passed away on May 25th, 1996, so he wasn't around when this album actually, hit the shelves. And they had to post, I can't even say, he after he's died, kind of adamant.
Posthumous?
Yeah, there it is. Into some.
Hard.
Yeah, words are hard. Into some music videos.
Hey man, I'll give you credit. At least you were like, I can't even fucking.
I didn't want to take a stab. I was just like, I'm gonna just Yeah, there we go. But let's go through. I'm gonna just list off the tracks, and we'll just.
You don't want to start with experience, or?
I want to hit the tracks, and then we'll get your experiences.
Sure.
I just want. This was a larger, I think, album compared to most CDs that came out. I think they had 19 songs. So we got Garden Grove, What I Got, Wrong Way. Same in the End, April 29th, 1992. Santeria, which I think everyone knows, crowd favorite. Seed, Jailhouse, Pawn Shop, Paddle Out, The Ballad of Johnny Butt, Burritos, Under My Voodoo, Get Ready, Caress Me Down, and then Doing Time. A lot of those tracks. This is one of my favorite, if not my favorite album growing up and even to date. It's something you could put on for me. So we're going to go into experiences put on for me that any given time, if you need an hour, 20 to kill, or if you're just kind of vibing, this is the right album to put on. That gives you that California feel, but there's a lot of variety within this album that kind of gives you a different taste, different setting. So when were you introduced to, I guess, Sublime, or what are your thoughts on this album, Ryan?
I would say, well, I never listened to this album like all the way. I've listened to like
some tracks,
like
on it,
5-6 tracks off of it.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the What I Got and Santeria, Caress Me Down would be the big three.
Mm-hmm.
I think I probably first heard Sublime playing Dave Mirra freestyle on
Yo,
PlayStation
there
1.
it is.
Same.
Or as we would call it, just PlayStation back
Dave
in the
Mirra's
day.
BMX, baby.
Original PlayStation, yeah.
PS1.
What I Got was on the game, and that was like the song when I hear that song.
Always, so in that game, it was always the same song that started your round. Like they always just had the same
Cycle,
tracks
yeah.
of songs. So like if your session went, I chopped it up,
your
chopped it
sesh.
up on the BMX.
2-minute sesh.
If you were doing like literally like 3 minutes, you just hear that song and be like, okay,
yeah.
start back over.
And then I don't know. I guess I was when that game came out, I was probably like.
I think it was 98.
I was like 9 or 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna guess. And then I guess I heard like Santeria, of course, and then later on, like maybe high school, Caress Me Down, and then a couple other ones like Smoke Two Joints or stuff like that's not on this album.
It's not on this one. You know what they did? Someone covered Summertime, the female artist, I forget her name, but she did an okay. I still like the original better. But there's certain artists that do a better cover than the original, like Johnny Cash with 9 Inch Nails. Like that's his song now, Dirt.
But music like this was like becoming popular when we were growing up. Like when we were like
you had the
young
puka
kids.
shells, the
like
spiky,
like
bleach
Sublime,
wine.
No Doubt, Goldfinger. Like bands like that. Like I enjoy listening to. Woj.
Yeah, I mean the Dave Mirra's BMX got me to go like, who the fuck is this? Let me check some more shit out, and then I think it really was an album or group that I could get into because it wasn't like overtly like hardcore. Yes, obviously some subjects or topics, and the lyrics are not always PG, but that definitely helps to, like when I'm younger, like 12, 13, 14, you're kind of like, hey, I can listen to this whenever in the house, and it's not like if it was Ice Cube or something like that, like parents probably would have shut that down pretty early, going like, get that shit out of here. We're not
this one would go under the radar, even though it
dick,
does have some,
So, yeah, I mean, just
raunchy.
overall, like, it started there, and then just continuously, like, every time I was like, oh, so this is Sublime too. This is dope. Like, probably this is the first time I've listened to the album straight through, and I was pleasantly surprised. Like, honestly, just overall, I would say that there weren't really... I mean, there would be songs that I probably was like, this isn't my favorite, but not necessarily to the level of a skip. Like, it's still enjoyable to listen. It's like they went down different paths, which, as you guys know, I definitely enjoy, not just the same song or same type of song kind of over and over again.
Yeah, I would say, like, I didn't hate any of the songs. I'd say there's going to be a few skips, and then
I didn't hate it.
a couple of, or 2 or 3 that I'm like, they're fine, and then I liked... Okay, let's see. I had 1, 2,
Like, what's
3,
a low key
4.
one that you liked that wasn't a mainstream? Like Santeria's mainstream, What I Got's mainstream, Caress Me Down mainstream. There's a few that mine is April 29th, 1992. That I love that track. I could listen to it front to back.
I don't know if these two count because I feel like I heard them before this, but I like Wrong Way and Same in the End.
Wrong Way's
a big one too,
more
but not.
That's what I thought. As
Yeah.
I say, I didn't want to like misrepresent.
I like Get Ready. That has a real chill vibe to it.
Besides the main ones, I had
That Jailhouse, I thought was like a chill song. Wasn't great, but I was like,
Pawn
still,
Shop's
still a
fucking
solid
sweet.
one.
I
Pawn
like
Shop.
Pawn Shop for the bass or whatever the bass line.
Yeah, good instrumentals.
Not
on
much
that.
of like a chorus or song, but just like the way it sounded was cool.
I got Paddle Out. I thought they tried for like a little bit different. I believe Anybody remember how that one goes?
Is that the more like rock one where it's like
I think yeah.
less like Jamaican?
Yeah, so I
more?
think they go like again definitely down like a Blink
They upped the
182
tempo on that one.
Yeah.
Blink 182 Avenue. They do unfortunately miss the mark. I think they did a lot of, as I remember, they did a lot of tempo changes, which doesn't work when you're trying to do like a 2.5 minute, 3 minute rock song.
Metal Out's only a minute 15,
That one,
so that was really
I'll say
quick.
the one that had a lot of the changes I remember being Seed, I think.
Seed's great.
But I thought it was okay, but like it kind of like what we were just saying where it goes from one type of music to the other and it kind of intertwines them.
So Under My Voodoo is the only one that I would like, and it's not even a skip for me, but I think it's one of their lower hits.
See, I say
I like that one.
I say I love the switch up. Like shows the depth of the band, like that they can do different things.
I like that we have different values too, because that like I appreciate different perspectives. Like for me, I'm expecting A. They deliver A in a bunch of different ways, like within their own like realm of music talent. This one, it just it was okay. Like I said, it had a similar fashion, but just for me, that's the only one that I possibly would. Not skip past, but it's whatever. Burritos is okay too.
That and I would also put on the Ballad of Johnny Butt.
Yeah,
it's not
those two.
I enjoyed Doing Time.
Doing Time's
Doing
great.
Time I thought was it was a fantastic song to end on.
Yeah.
Like again, like they, I'm a flow guy.
You are.
They did a good job though of going, not front loading the album with like all the hits and then just kind of whatever in between. But Doing Time, like again, like they did have a nice kind of like up and down, changing tempos, going over here, going over here. Overall, the whole album vibe is very chill, kind of reggae, kind of a through line, beach vibes, for sure.
Yeah.
But again, Doing Time, I thought was a good one to end on.
I thought I was gonna say to piggyback what you said. I'm sorry if I cut you off. I didn't mean to. That I wish they would have started off with something better than Garden Grove. I didn't think that was a great opening song.
Garden Grove doesn't
a little slower.
Yeah, no, it kind of it's kind of middle paced. But you're right.
I would have gone wrong way.
Yeah, I would have gone wrong way. I mean, you could have started with What I Got, even though that's like their main hit. I don't know, but like it's. I wouldn't.
To start strong isn't a bad idea, but Garden Grove, it's a good jam.
They had enough hits on this one album that like you could have started off with a Santeria or a What I Got or whatever. Like you could have. You have like I think to me like four.
It's like I'd say at least like 4 or 5, like
4 or 5 main hits. That again, that's what makes this album great. Is like you got the hits, and then again, even the misses are like not a true miss,
right?
Exactly.
Like
absolute.
You can listen to it. Like I did grocery shopping yesterday. And I just had it on while I was grocery shopping, and it like kind of just flew by, and I was like, okay, that was good. That was good. Like I wasn't like. Not to like hate on the Korn album again, but like with Korn, or how I imagine were with the Chopped and Screwed 3/6.
You know what? I was wrong in that. Sorry, I listened to that.
No,
version.
it's okay. But I was saying,
for those who don't know, Bobby reviewed the wrong album last week.
It was the same album, but they put 3 different albums out of the same album.
Different
version. Okay.
But like it wasn't a struggle to get through. I was like, oh man, and when's it gonna end? Or it was like okay, like like kind of as what's it blended or flowed. Nicely, kind of reminds me of like you said, if you're at a beach and you're kind of hearing like a live band at a bar or something,
sure,
like kind of just like cool, chill, vacation like type, chill music. I thought.
Yeah, lyrics, like I said, lyrics are definitely rated R for the most part across many of these. But the underlying vibe, the theme of all their music, very fucking like you said, beach chill vibes.
I dig that type of music. I like No Doubt. I like 311. I like bands like that. So it's definitely stuff I listen to.
What's cool though, Bradley? Now I know he passed away, and hats off. Sorry, I say hats off in the wrong way. Like, hey, I'll take my hat off. We'll respect the man. Fluent in Spanish. That's why in Caress Me Down, he knew Spanish.
Did enjoy
just the same.
the Spanish verses and
and
Hola,
Caress Me
mucho
Down
gusto.
and,
Me llamo Bradley. So that was fun. All right, that is Sublime, self-titled Sublime.
What you got? Any remaining thoughts?
Any thoughts? Anything to close it out?
Yeah, I mean, the Santeria, I think we kind of brushed.
We
past.
brushed.
Santeria's a big hit.
I think Santeria is one of like those songs that it's so iconic that anybody who is a 27, 25-year-old plus, I think you play this song, you're like, oh fuck, I know. Like even if you don't know the group, they still are like, I've heard that before.
Right.
Somebody's played it somewhere. It's got so much airplay between people just putting on a shuffle list or whatever. It's easily one of my favorite guitar solos in that. The impact of that song, I think, is just like, again, like so many people have listened to that. So many people jammed out to it, smoked a fucking blunt to it, drank some beers, doing whatever, just chilling out to it. It's one of those songs that, again, like normal rotation.
Sure.
I don't know if that's the same for you guys.
No,
but
absolutely.
I was gonna say, my favorite, I think, like now, like I think back in the day, probably wasn't what I got, but I guess, for a good amount now, I like "Crust Me Down" the best. I enjoy.
Okay.
I enjoy like you said, the Spanish and the more like
the guy's flowing,
the
man.
up tempo-ness, but it's still like
he's telling you a story and
chill at the same time. Yeah, and then I'd probably go "Wipe Me Down," or not "Wipe Me Down."
Wipe Me Down.
Sorry, "Wipe Me
Whoa.
Down." What I got, and then Santeria as far as the big,
wrong.
big three for
like
me.
I guess that's why I didn't dive into side A, side B. There's so much side A on this, like by our definition.
I think it's a good overall album. It's a real night and day from your Korn album to this
right.
one.
No, with the audience.
Well,
here,
again,
for
where
sure.
Korn really had like one major hit
And then the rest
that was popular,
right?
and this one is the complete opposite of just like so many hits. Even the bad, like again, the quote unquote bad songs are still good, listenable to it. You're not like this is a full skip. I would also just mention that the reggae vibe and all that stuff, and ska. I think that's kind of right up also my alley. That's why I found it very easy to listen to. I don't know if you guys saw any of the YouTube videos.
I did.
But they're like
the Pawn Shop YouTube one.
They're in the lane of like animation from the 90s, and it's like basically the whole thing is like it just keeps morphing, and it's like on a cycle. I don't know if it's claymation or whatever the fuck it is. But it's like just like morphing into weird things like a guitar and then a woman and then a
that was
thing.
the Pawn Shop
it's
one.
a little bit like acid trippy for a couple.
Oh, for sure,
They
it's
did like
tripping.
3 or 4.
Like
but I was
that.
like watching it and I was like, if you were on acid right now, this would probably be pretty good. Like you'd be freaking out. But
a little bit, yeah.
it was just an odd concept. Like I was like, this is what you want to. I mean, again, this is probably also at the time where music videos were a fucking thing and people put real time and effort into it.
I was just talking about that the other day because like I said at work we have the little TV and like we put on sometimes like YouTube where it'll be like, TRL hour or like 90s rap and it's like all the old music videos come up and we're like some of the younger guys who are like, what the fuck is this? Like, why is all this shit so CG? Like it was like a Brandy video the other day and like I was like, guys, you don't understand.
You don't respect
like
what we had.
Well, I was just like, music videos were a big deal. Like you had to like either make something so ridiculously expensive that it got you noticed, and would get your video played,
VH1 and MTV,
sell your
man.
album, or it would be like more like gritty and like but there was always kind of an extra to stand out one way or the other. You know what I mean?
Show them the Missy Elliott's or the.
We did that. We played "Get Your Freak On."
Get Your Freak On.
Oh, that's fucking
She
great.
did like the whole like fucking Terminator head.
You
or
could also do the
whatever.
Backstreet Boy. Or no,
yeah.
it was in
Bye 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 was huge.
NSYNC had a lot, but Backstreet Boys also had some real like. I don't know.
They're boy
like,
band music
but
videos.
it's like real douchey because it's like all 5
Are you
guys.
thinking 98 Degrees a little bit?
No, I'm thinking
Okay.
Backstreet
All right,
Boys.
that's fine.
But they have a lot of songs where they're
Real
like real
douchey.
douchey of like singing
Linen
to, like,
shirt.
singing to like linen shirt, winds blowing at them, and they're like singing to
yeah.
a girl.
Yeah.
And like a group of girls. It's like
Dude, that was the times though. We
Yeah.
had Boys to Men.
I know,
we had
I'm just saying you show those to a 24-year-old kid right now.
Oh, I
they'll
know,
be like,
right?
what the fuck is going on?
Well, and if you
right
guys
now?
recall too, they had like making the video of the
Right,
music video.
right,
That was
right,
like a whole
right,
thing
yeah.
too. It was like an episode of that, and then you watch the video on TRL, and then like it would replay and replay.
Yeah.
Sorry to get off track a
So-
little bit, but
No, this is good.
But
I'm
yeah.
glad that you guys brought this up. That like kind of that acid trip and flow type of feel, because I think the icon that we associate to Sublime is not quite the album cover on this, but that sun that you guys saw, and hopefully we could do that graphic, that like trippy sun, we get added into the pod, but. You see a bunch of people wearing Nirvana shirts and Sublime shirts with like their like those graphics. It's like, dude, you're 15. Like you didn't even exist when like 10 years before even the guy died. Like I was like, I don't know what's going on. I feel like the 90s are coming back nowadays.
It's a fashion statement. It looks cool, so they're wearing
like the
Well, a lot of people wear shit they don't know what the fuck they're wearing.
Very true.
Understandable, but it just blew my mind. I saw like a 16-year-old wearing that and like a Pink Floyd, and understandable, and some of that other stuff is just like, do you even know like one album of theirs or what track of theirs?
A guy came into my work wearing like Broncos gear, and I was like, "Oh, you excited about?"
Yeah, he doesn't. He like the
Bo
colors.
Nix.
Bo Nix. He's like, what? Like, I'm like, your first round quarterback who's gonna start. Oh no! All
It's
right.
like, dude, I just like pumpkins. That's why I'm
Yeah.
wearing this shit.
Or like some people I'll call like, oh, I love that Tupac shirt you're wearing. Like, what's your favorite Tupac song or something? And be like, I don't know.
I mean, or they're gonna say changes, which you're like,
Yeah.
it's good, but it's
Okay, that's a basic answer.
There's a lot of other.
First of
answers.
all, fuck your bitch and the click you claim.
Yeah. So that's always a good test of people's stuff.
I mean, again, you don't. It's not necessarily a negative, but like you should also, I think, just in general, know what you're wearing and
Take
know
a little
that-
ownership. That's all.
know that it's like it's a thing that people will look at you and go like I'm wearing a Blackhawks thing. You're wearing a Blackhawks thing. I might go like Blackhawks. Like
Taves,
you should,
Kane.
If
Let's
I-
go,
you
you
should
know.
know.
If I wore this George Costanza shirt and I couldn't
He
talk
knows
about
Seinfeld better than all of us, right?
then I'd be pretty stupid. Like that would be. I go like, well, I'm not gonna wear like I never watched Game of Thrones. I'm not gonna wear a Game of Thrones shirt. That would be stupid. I don't,
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I don't know it. Why would I wait?
So there's a responsibility in your attire
I think
to
yeah,
at least
I mean,
have some knowledge.
Like
I get it.
why, I'm not gonna be. It's like I'm
I think you
being
should
false.
You should expect that people
There it is.
might like that thing, and then like you should know that. Okay, somebody might ask me about my shirt. I think that's a general social thing of like, oh, you're wearing that shirt. I'm gonna mention.
If I wear
blah,
like
blah,
a
blah, blah,
Stranger
blah.
Things shirt and I haven't seen Stranger Things, what are you doing? Like,
Right.
You know,
That's fair.
Definitely so.
All right, so
that
let's
was
wrap it
Sublime.
up. That was Sublime, self-titled album, Sublime. And who's next on our album choice?
Should be me.
Oh, excellent.
All right.
I'm glad I got you back, though. I know Coin really didn't do it for you, but hopefully this one did.
Didn't do
No
it for
problem.
anybody.
That hurt. That hurt right under the
Journey-
ribs.
Journey is going to be the next group, and I'm going to do the album Frontiers.
All right.
I love me some Journey, so this is going to be great.
Is that the one with? I don't know. I'll just find out. Never mind.
Yeah, I was going to say, why don't we just
I'll get
Check it
into
out.
it.
wait until
yeah.
we review it?
Yeah.
But I will just mention in general, the time period of Journey that they pretty much had a couple hits on each album, and I didn't want to do just a greatest hits
That's
album because I already did that, so I know that going in
Well, we can.
that it's happening. So just that's a disclaimer on that of just like
okay.
it's not going to be.
You're right. I
8
understand.
solid
right.
hits of whatever. There might be some duds on there.
I was just say we can all do if we want like another great. We don't have to You don't have to retire the greatest hits forever. We can do one.
We could do a rotation of it,
right?
For sure.
Like I'm just saying.
I
if
definitely
you want to. Or whatever,
we
right?
could definitely discuss that. I would also like to do at one point a one-hit wonders.
Oh, I'm on board for
try
that
and do
theme.
that.
I
So
like
we'll,
that.
We'll toss those shits around. We'll kick it around. So that's Journey, Frontiers. That's going to be next episode.
Take a quick break.
We're going to take a quick bake.
You're
That
baked.
too.
I knew it. I
We're
knew
going to take
it.
a quick break.
And a quick bake.
And then we're going to come back with my choice for movie, which is going to be Clerks.
Hell
directed by
yes.
Kevin Smith, incredible.
So we're going to do that. Chill out. Be
Give
back.
yourself another drink.
25 seconds.
All right, welcome back, Journeymen Lounge podcast listeners. We got a movie review coming up, Clerks, and we got Ryan looking on par for Silent Bob. Fucking nailed it.
I mean,
There it is.
Clerks is a movie that I feel started off indie, but because Kevin Smith has done so many different things, I think he I know a lot of people now that I feel like are very much in the way. Pick up your mic, man. You're not Silent Bob in the whole fucking.
He's trying to stay in
I'm
character.
gonna take this
Yeah.
coat off real quick.
Okay, it's good for a bit. Good bit.
Doesn't he look good, folks? There we go. Looking great.
But yeah,
Put it right there. It's
I think the Kevin Smith universe, because you have like Clerks 1, 2, 3. You have Chasing Amy, Dogma.
Mallrats.
You have Mallrats. He also did
Zack and Mary Make a Porno.
Zack and Mary Make a Porno. Jane Silent Bob Strike Back. I don't remember if I said
Love
that.
that one. It's one of my favorites.
But like, you have these things in this universe, and I think it's like, again, it's like an indie universe to kind of begin with, but now it's definitely more widespread. So many people, like Ben Affleck is in it, Matt Damon, like they get these fucking big names.
But
Alanis
Morissette was in Dogma, and they had Chris Rock.
Salma
Salma
Hayek was in it.
Salma Hayek was in it.
Alan Richter.
Alan Rickman, yeah.
Rickman,
Richter,
Andy Richter, and Alan Rickman.
But
and they had George Carlin in the other
George
one.
Carlin, right? We
in
were
Silent Bob. Yeah, sorry.
But yeah, no. It's again. This is where it starts. This is Clerks is his first film, I believe. I'm just going to double check.
94.
But it was 94, and he made this for $27K. I don't know how much it grossed. I don't think it actually grossed too much at the time, but like it's a full feature-length film, hour and a half. It is shot in black and white, also due to those
purposefully
constraints on money. I mean, Bobby had mentioned that this was like filmed at the place that Kevin Smith worked at
the Quick Stop where he worked. Yeah,
and then he
was a real life Dante.
He would like do his shift and then film and then go home for a couple hours and then come back in and do it.
Not even Woj. From what I read,
you'd
film
wait
from 10:30 p.m. to 5:30 a.m. when the store was closed,
and then get the store set up at 6.
Yeah, he'd maybe sleep 1 hour a night. He said.
Yeah, I could see that.
It only took 21 days. I watched the making of Clerks to kind of prepare for this, and he maxed out like 7 different credit cards, was only paying the minimum on it, and eventually it got picked up by Miramax at one of the film festivals in, Colorado, or I forget what it's called out there, just due to the momentum that got picked up from
Sundance.
Yeah, Sundance. Right, the momentum that was picked up on the IMMF. Independent, I forget what that acronym is, but a lot of people started talking about it. Some articles came out, started to get some real, snowball effect, and eventually snowball. That's pretty fun. And I'm so happy for his success because yes, eventually I'm sure he paid off the $27,000 because it was out in.
I mean, he got big deals. I think you said from Miramax, like he was getting millions to then direct and produce a movie there. So
and this movie cleaned up. I mean,
it cleaned up for the amount, the profit.
What a risk, though. What an absolute risk.
So 27,000 of his, and then when Miramax picked it up, they added more to it, so it became 230,000. Still cheap.
Okay, yeah,
under $1 million. Made 4.4 million.
Right.
So that's a lot of. I mean, like that's a lot of money. Like for the budget it had. So it made
for sure. I'm saying the profit is huge. But yeah, also I'm speaking of it in the context of 1990,
right? Where
movies are made now for 140 million on average.
Sure. Yeah, but I was just saying, like movies, like to make a profit, you have to make back like more than double. Like if the budget's like $5 million, you have to make more than $10 million to make it profitable with all the advertising,
other
production,
expenses,
all the bullshit they put into it. So like the fact that it made whatever that the math is, I don't do math that well, but certainly more than a lot more than it was cost. That's
you gotta to put this in a different perspective or lens on this. He went to Vancouver Art School for all of one semester, dropped out, focused on writing the script for Clerks. After he saw Slacker, I think it was a 1991 movie or something like that. Yeah, it kind of prompted him to go.
He said. Yeah, sorry, just to piggyback on it, he had a lot of different like role models
going into it
in terms of directors. I know he who did Dazed and Confused, Richard Linklater.
That's the Slacker movie he's referencing.
Sorry, I meant more of the directors, though.
Right, directors that
were the like impetus of him.
Yes,
getting into directing. Hey, I'm going to drop out, do that. I do want to just see the. Film school is called
Vancouver Film of the Arts. He was there for one semester, dropped out because he said, hey, I have $7,000 I could pay for second semester, or I could start to use this as a budget because I want to write the script. I want to develop this, and I want to put that towards a movie being created. So I'm just saying, for a guy who went all in, he took out like 4 different credit cards, maxed them out completely. Even got a FEMA check or something like that because through New Jersey where they were living, they had that hurricane that went all the way up the coast, and his house was unlivable. He was literally sleeping on the floor in the back for 3 to 4 weeks just trying to make this, dream come true. So, really, I hope he could comment. That'd be awesome.
It's very inspirational.
It is. It's inspirational because he grabbed a bunch of actors who there were some that actually had some previous acting experience and some that absolutely didn't. Jeff Anderson is one of those that had no experience. Jason Mewes, no experience.
I would say it was probably majority didn't have experience.
Right, and I like that he was able to create such a fun, relatable dialogue, and just a lot of younger people could just really enjoy this movie because the conversations sound like conversations we have.
I mean, if you've worked retail,
I
have, and I do, it's so relatable. Like talking about the customers, how the dumb questions,
the
and
eggs
just the
and the milk and everything,
day-to-day bullshit you see, and just the conversations you have with your coworkers about dumb shit. It's just I could see me making a movie like this. I could totally, it's very relatable.
Yeah. So I would just kind of go into the synopsis of the film.
Sure.
Is Dante, played by Brian O'Halloran, he and Randall, Jeff Anderson, played by Jeff Anderson, they work in a quick stop, and then right next door is a
RTS
video store.
So your Blockbuster, essentially.
This is back in the time with VHS,
Mm-hmm.
and only VHS were available. Mm-hmm. And it is basically going through just like a day. Like Dante was not supposed to come in. He had a hockey game planned. He has basically a triangle love affair going on of his ex-girlfriend is getting married. He's dating this other woman. Finds out she sucked 36 dicks.
Wait, so I'm 37?
Yeah, 37.
36 other than him. But, so it just follows Dante as he's going through, and essentially it's broken up into these title card scenes where it basically represents the 9 rings of hell, which is what Dante is going through. The through line is basically this day fucking blows. Everything that goes wrong.
Oh man, I didn't know there was so much depth in that. They're
but again, those screens pop up, and I'll just read off the words.
I didn't connect it. Honestly, I didn't connect that. It was
vilification, syntax, vagary, purgation, malaise, harbinger, perspicacity, paradigm, whimsy, quandary, lamentation, juxtaposition, catharsis, denouement. They're to represent, again, what I read, the 9 rings of hell, but I think it also just kind of explains what he is somewhat going through. But again, obviously these are real, the lexicon of the movie, the verbiage that is used is at such a high degree where every conversation, these are 2-minute conversations, but it's actually getting into something. They talk about stuff as trivial as Star Wars. Kevin Smith is a huge Star Wars fan, and he goes into these these arguments, Randall and Dante, about just the Death Star and the politics of the
politics of the second Death Star. We actually have a table read for that. I'm not sure. Are we going to jump in for that?
Not
yet.
Jumping in. I'm just kind of just explaining that this happens throughout the day. Customers, as you said, come in. They
different
go out,
conversations pop up.
He goes to a wake, and some shit ensues there, and then the culmination is in the bathroom of the quick stop. Dante's obviously distracted. He lets this guy go in, use the bathroom
with a porno mag. Yeah.
Hours earlier, he ends up dying on the toilet, jerking off, and his girlfriend, who is a freak. I'm sorry, his ex-girlfriend, who's a freak, and trying to get back together with him, thinks it's Dante in the bathroom, and the guy's dead as fuck.
Right,
it's crazy.
Go check it out. Yeah,
but that's the synopsis there. So I'll just kind of start with where'd you guys see this? I mean, 94 is a little early for you guys. I feel to see this is definitely a rated R film. So what'd you I guess is this first time seeing it?
I literally just saw it last week.
Oh, okay. So what'd you think? Initial thoughts?
I thought it was awesome. I had seen maybe a clip or two before on a reel on Facebook or something,
sure.
The 37 dicks thing. I've seen Zack and Miri, but I never, I'm not. I wouldn't call myself. I'm not a big. I haven't watched Kevin Smith stuff.
Okay.
Not that I don't want to. I just haven't. I've seen Chasing Amy.
He did one with Bruce Willis and
Cop
Cop
Out.
Out.
Oh yeah, I heard that was good. Actually, I didn't watch that either. See, I haven't seen a lot of his stuff. Anyway, not that I'm opposed to it, but I kind of want to now, especially after watching this. But yeah, I sat down last week or after I left here, popped it on. It was like an hour and a half. Really enjoyed it. Like I said, found the dialogue to like ring very true, even though it's in the 90s. But just the whole thing of working retail and knowing customers and the way people act and just like putting up with the day-to-day bullshit and just I feel like I've been Dante before, I can feel it. And then like I said, the dialogue between him and Randall, just like shooting the shit about different stuff.
It's very much their friendship is on display.
It just reminds me of
Randall says whatever the fuck he's feeling, doesn't matter who's there, and Dante is like kind of like a yes man, like trying to please everybody in the world. Apologetic, and like has to apologize for Randall's behavior all the time.
Like
but
we just
he's the sensible of the two, I guess.
We talk about at work just like they do. I really enjoy it. And also like especially.
Do you have a Randall at your work?
Oh yeah.
Nope. Maybe to a degree, but nobody's fucking Randall in this. He is borderline psychotic.
I dig that personality. Everything's out there, to be seen, I guess.
But I really especially like that. Appreciate the filmmaking of it. Like,
yes.
Researching it after watching it or while I was watching it, kind of like that he worked at this place that he filmed during his off hours at night. That's why it's in black and white. That's why the shutters don't work as in the plot.
To save money on lighting.
So you don't have to, so they can make it look like the daytime even if it isn't.
Right.
It's really just inspirational, really awesome. And I said the dialogue holds true. And I think that like, the story, not a lot happens. It's like a day in the life kind of thing, but if the dialogue is so good that, it really makes you enjoy the movie.
And it's not cut off dialogue. Like, it's not like Family Guy where it's just randomness and they bring you back into, it
feels natural.
It builds. It's a natural progression or natural conversation, I guess.
Yeah. I would say, maybe on the negative, some of the, because it's like his first movie, some of them are just amateur people. Maybe the acting could be a little better at times, but also I think it lends to making the movie feel more real too. So
you kind of keyed on being relatable, actual real life situations, but also again like the fact that, as Bobby was saying, it's like it is kind of closed off. They finished that scene, maybe a callback here and there, but again, like the scene's done, they're moving on to another thing. I think the customers coming in and out also help to do that.
Yeah,
they have these certain scenes and stuff. But Bobby, what's your experience like? Where'd you get?
I saw Clerks. I want to say sometime in high school. I can't really put a
classic high school movie, I think.
A date and time on it, but I've since watched it again and again. It's one of these movies like Saturday morning. If it's raining out, you're not up to anything. There's no chores to be done, and you just want to relax. You pop on a movie like Clerks. But like I said, maybe that's how I got exposed to it. But Kevin Smith, having seen this. And then I went on to see Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. And after I've
seen that too.
Saw that and that, I was like, I'm seeing his whole roster, whatever he has. So I've seen Clerks 2, Clerks 3, Mallrats. I went through the whole gambit. And Dogma, I really thought the problem with Dogma was due to the sensitive, I guess, nature of kind of the underlying. And we're not talking about Dogma, but it didn't get similar to this. It didn't get a lot of publicity. It didn't get a lot of pull through the mainstream market. But
yeah, the subject matter is
even
not
for this. There's a lot of swearing and a lot of different subject matter.
Fuck said like 90 times or whatever. But I think it's just in general of like it is the grittiness and all that's never going to be like a mainstream movie. Like people want the Forrest Gump. They want that happy ending.
Right.
Blah blah blah.
No, this ending is just kind of a like, hey, now clocking out, new day beginning soon.
Yeah, it's just basically 18 hours or whatever of, maybe not even 18, maybe like more like 15. But, the experience with the movie, I'll just kind of put in my two pieces. So, one piece, there you go, with some fucking mashed potatoes. I'll just say that you guys have mentioned the Aaron, DVD collection. I might be not as truthful or some bullshit with that. Overall, there are movies in Aaron's collection that are mine. This is 100% an Aaron. It's his. showed it to me. I was like, this is fucking amazing. Love this to death. And very much to what you were saying, Bobby's like, I just kind of went off on this tangent of, hey, I'm in the Kevin Smith world. I love everything that he pretty much puts out. I will say the stuff that he's put out later, and I think he did a movie with like his daughter and Lily Rose Depp, I think were like, it was like a Canadian zombie.
Yeah, I'm not certain.
Movie.
I haven't seen that one.
Haven't seen that per se, but I would just put it out there that the whole Kevin Smith universe and how it intertwines is worth a watch. Now that you've watched Clerks, Ryan, I would definitely say like try and venture out into the Mallrats.
I have Mallrats on DVD, just never.
But you'll
popped it in.
appreciate it more knowing that. Okay, because
Could
this one actually directly ties to Mallrats.
The first thing I ever saw from him was Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I saw
Which,
that
yeah,
when
was
it came
fucking
out.
awesome.
I don't know, I was like 13 or whatever.
Okay.
I have a random factoid I just want to drop in there. So you have Randall Graves, Jeff Anderson. He married Lisa Spooner, who is Caitlin Bree, within 3 months of wrapping up filming to this movie. So Caitlin and Randall were married in real life until Caitlin passed away sometime when she was like 47, like in the early 2000s, which is sad. But
Oh, wow.
I know, but that's incredible. 3 months in, and they literally are, engaged, getting married. So.
Okay.
What a fun little story.
All right, so let's get into scenes. I would just kind of go and I got a lot of generalities because they kind of obviously click back and forth. Just the backdrop of the quick stop and the painting, like Dante hand paints with shoe polish a sign that says "I assure you, we're open." And just like it keeps popping back to that. I like that backdrop, and that's where Jay and Silent Bob post up. Is kind of in between the two of them. What do you guys got? Throw them out.
I like when Dante and Veronica are lying on the floor behind the register.
Yeah, that was a nice scene.
They're talking about sex, and specifically, Dante's talking about how it's easy to make a man come, but for a man to make a woman come is like an art or like a master kind of thing. And then they start talking about how many people they had sex with, and Dante says 12, and she says 3, including him. But then they get into
Later
how
on,
many
yeah.
dicks have you sucked? Because the guy comes in.
Snowball is referenced.
They talk about snowballing.
Who is? I just got to mention that is a producer. So that's Kevin Smith's buddy from Vancouver.
And he
Film
plays a few
School.
different roles in this movie,
So he's
too.
produced every single Kevin Smith movie, and I want to just shout out his name.
Yeah, we have it. I got it. Hold on, coming up. Scott Mosier.
Scott Mosier, yeah.
Mosier,
right.
yeah.
So he's. I just want to shout him out because he's in. I don't know if he's on screen in a whole lot of movies, but definitely the, again, producer. Whatever.
And I said
Go ahead.
snowballing is when she sucks your dick and then you come in her and then she makes out with you with the cum in her mouth.
It's
Is that
basically
right?
a transference
Jesus, yeah.
there, which is
Exactly right.
I fucking knew a guy in college that he did that.
Get out of here. Oh.
What the fuck?
So there's another.
You know who you know. We know you're watching this.
Anyway, we're finishing up. Then she says she sucked 37 dicks, including his, and he's appalled by it.
Oh, dude, when he's just
I'm sick to my stomach.
37?
He's like, why couldn't you be a decent person and have sex with them?
Well, I used to go out with them for a while, and then we'd make out, and then I'd go down on them or whatever. Really.
Veronica.
But like, she just kind of, I think she even mentions like, don't ask questions to answer, to answers that you don't want to hear or something, which is like
definitely.
probably good advice.
But she was faithful to him. She's like, hey, you asked, and he's like, I'm not giving you shit about sleeping with all these women. He's like, but this is important.
I think it's definitely just an.
It's one-sided.
It's a one-sided overreaction of like, oh, I can have sex with these people, and then she's doing something else, and he's getting upset at her for that.
Also,
I think overall, again, the Dante love triangle here of
Caitlin,
Veronica. Who's the ex-fiance, who you then learn is like coming back to be with him in some capacity.
No, she just wanted a fling, I think.
No, I'm saying in some capacity.
Sure.
Oh,
And
no,
then
I'm agreeing. I hate Caitlin.
And then Veronica is like the sweetest girl ever. Brings him like
Yeah.
lasagna on his work break. And,
Right.
hey, I'll pick you up. We'll go out and, hang out later. So it is that juxtaposition.
Don't go sucking any dick when you make it through the parking lot.
Yeah.
And that guy just
That guy
starts
starts
walking.
walking,
He's like, hey, you come back here.
It's so fucking great. I love that a lot of the scenes are just like briefly interrupted by like a customer coming in and just asking a fucking whatever. There's a lot of those like quick
randomness, yeah,
quick like 2-second scenes of like, hey, how much does this cost? And there's like a huge sign right behind them going like, yeah, 99 cents, dumbass.
Oh my God, I love that montage. Yeah, it's like, have you seen this movie or what's up with this? Or,
there's
or she's getting the milks out, the milk maidens or whatever.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
milkmaid. There's a
and
guy,
then the guy with the eggs.
turns over the eggs.
Yeah.
So this is the same guy. Sorry, I wanted to bring this up a little earlier. Sorry, Walt Flanagan, who did not want to be on screen at all. He was part of their support, their crew, to set up the scenes and work behind. They're like, we need you. So he popped in a bunch of different times. He was the Eggman. He was a bunch of different characters, albeit for a few seconds, but they used him sparingly throughout this whole movie to fill in gaps because other people didn't show up.
I think it's definitely like hey, we need somebody. You're going to be doing this. Get someone's kid, like hey, the mom and
with the kid at
the kid and
store
she's
is fucking
hey,
hilarious.
happy-go-lucky puppy. He's like. And then Randall starts like ordering
porn titles,
like
DVDs.
14 different pornos, and then
like,
wait, which one
do you have
want?
the porn titles? Well, just listed.
I got a couple of them.
They were funny. I didn't write them down, but I should have.
It's like Fill All My Holes, Volume 2. It's like Big Black Cocks with White Pearly Cum.
Yeah.
It's like ass tramps, like fucking. He just kept going on, and then at the end he's like, "Oh yeah, what'd you want?
Spotty, the
Happy
dog,
puppy or something." Like that. Yeah.
Or we bets that girl $20. That was a funny scene. I guarantee I'll get to that before you. And he opens up the door for her. And she's like,
I do love anything with Jay and Silent Bob. I think it's great. I will just say that they do get more in the next couple of movies
involved,
which I think is much better. Like I did read that Jason Mewes, who plays Jay, definitely was like camera shy and not really loving that. So maybe Kevin Smith I know Kevin Smith, as somebody said maybe earlier off pod, was like not really meant even to be in it. He just was like.
From what I read, Kevin Smith was going to play
Dante.
No, the other part, Randall, because he wrote all the best lines.
Okay.
But then he found it hard to direct and do all the setups, and so that's when he got his friend Jeff, and then he picked an easier role, right? And then. From what I read about Jason Mewes was that I don't know about the whole shy thing, but that the studio wasn't confident in him or didn't think he was like for the for the poster he's not on it.
Oh, okay.
Like they omitted him purposefully, and I don't know for what, but then he ends up being like one of the biggest parts of the whole Kevin Smith universe or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jay and Silent Bob are the equivocal point of that universe. That like again, everybody else, like all these stories around. Are like they don't work without a Jay and Silent Bob type kind of being like the glue.
They round off the character, like the character mix. They really do. They
But I think they glue the story together of like two assholes who are just like they're there.
Vagrants that are just
but they
loitering.
always just make everything better. Because like the people that are in the main stories, like I referenced Chasing Amy or Mallrats or any of those movies like Clerks, again, the other still same cast, they still, again, like they have these characters that are kind of like seedy, but then like Jay and Silent Bob are like, they work in perfectly, like just two assholes that hang out around the store, deal drugs, and then like randomly Silent Bob drops in some nuggets of wisdom. Like I love those,
he'll have one or two
lines in like a movie, and it's just so funny because it's like it's also true, and I'll get to the quotes in a little bit there. I mean, there's a little tiny one, cat taking a shit in front of the customer in the litter box.
He was really excited about getting that on film because they only had so much film to do 2 takes of anything. So,
I mean, Wrangle. Caitlin banging the guy in the back is just like
necrophilia,
a curveball. I never was gonna see there. And then the last scene of like Randall heading out the door. And like Dante, you can still see that these two guys are like still best friends because he's like, "Come on, wrangle for me, wrangle," and he does like this little
dance,
walk, little shimmy
saunters
out the door.
out.
It's like clearly a best friend thing. Of like, come on, do it, man. He's like, do. All right.
Last scene for me is Randall. I don't appreciate the ruse, and he just fucking leans into that lady as he's sitting up on the counter over at the.
I mean, Randall has a real problem, like authority.
Clearly,
he does a lot
like
of
to
things.
be told anything.
I think it's like he speaks his mind. Doesn't matter who he offends, and he thinks that he's right all the time.
Agreed.
Brian, any other last
Yeah,
scenes?
a couple. The roof hockey scene was
That was
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
interesting that they would play on the roof and not just like in the street next to the
I kind of
store.
like it,
But
though.
no, it was a cool. Like that was awesome. And then I like the little Jay and Silent Bob when they come in the store and they talk to Dot and Jay. Actually has some words of advice like. I don't know what you're doing with the, basically, like, I'm going to paraphrase, like, fucking around with Caitlin when you got Veronica here.
That was Silent Bob. He's like, yeah.
No,
there's
it
not-
was Jay first.
Jay was
and
saying
then,
it.
Oh, yeah.
and then Silent Bob adds the quote after.
Yeah.
But he says, like, like, she brings you lasagna and
There's not many.
whatever.
Yeah, there's
He goes,
women that'll cheat
there's
on
a million fine-looking
Yeah.
women in the world, dude, but they don't all bring you lasagna at work. Most of them just cheat on you.
Exactly. And then, but I thought that was good. And then also just the ending fight between the two of them. And then the what they talk about after, where Randall kind of just calls out Dante for all his bullshit. Like, you're not supposed to be here. Fuck you. Like, you're the one who decided to talk to her while not breaking up with her. And
I can appreciate the honesty that
Yeah.
Randall kind of drops on him. It's like, Dante, this is a mess of your own making. Like, granted, Randall's a total asshole. And, like,
Yeah.
he gets called out by Dante, but I guess his card. Like, him being not him, like, that's him. That's always going to be him. You should expect it.
I mean, definitely, I would say though, fucking, I don't know why Randall told Veronica all that shit. Like, what an asshole, kind of. Like,
That is a dick move.
like,
That's
you're
kinda-
his friend. Like, don't let if you want to tell him to
Well,
say it. Say it. That's fine.
Randall says that stuff because he thinks he's doing him a favor. He
Yeah.
thinks he's like,
Right.
hey, I'm helping you out.
I'm
with
looking
this.
out for you by doing this.
In retrospect, yes, it's an asshole move to go that way. But yeah, I would just say as we kind of are going to segue into quotes.
Yeah.
I mean, one scene that's like, again, it's solid, and then again another through line between his movies, like Star Wars debates. It happens in Clerks 2 as well. I know they reference it in Mallrats. There's a bunch of other movies.
Jay and
Silent Bob.
Heard
You know.
you two got married. The Unitarian.
So again, this is Randall and Dante like discussing.
Oh, here we go.
Well, Randall just brings up a premise about Star Wars, and then
And this is
kinda
not
goes
this is
from
not
there.
all of it. This is like a chunk of.
Yeah, it's good enough though.
Do you want me to be Randall or it's like up the hat, or do you want me to be Randall?
It doesn't matter, man. You be Randall.
Sure. Which do you like better, Jedi or The Empire Strikes Back?
Empire.
Blasphemy.
Empire had the better ending. I mean, Luke gets his hand cut off, finds out Vader's his father. Han gets frozen and taken away by Boba Fett. It ends on such a down note. I mean, that's what life is, a series of endings. All Jedi had was a bunch of Muppets.
A construction job of that magnitude would require a hell of a lot more manpower than the Imperial Army had to offer. I'll bet there were independent contractors working on that thing. Plumbers, aluminum siders, roofers.
Not just Imperials is what you're getting at?
Exactly. In order to get it built quickly and quietly, they hired anybody who could do the job. Do you think the average stormtrooper knows how to install a toilet main? All they know is killing and white uniforms.
Oh, shit. Where did I... Oh, sorry. All right, so even if independent contractors are working on the Death Star, why are you so uneasy with its destruction?
All those innocent contractors hired to do a job were killed. Casualties of war they had nothing to do with. And then there's like another part. Like,
fine, whatever.
all right, look, you're a roofer, and some juicy government contract comes your way. You got the wife and kids in a 2-story in suburbia. This is a government contract, which means all sorts of benefits. All of these left-wing militants blast you with lasers and wipe out everyone within a 3-mile radius. You didn't ask for that. You have no personal politics. You're just trying to scrape out a living.
Excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt, but what are you talking about?
The ending of Return of the Jedi.
My friend here is trying to convince me that any independent contractors who were working on the uncompleted Death Star were innocent victims when it was destroyed by the rebels.
And then the guy, we don't have the rest of it, but the blue
Yeah,
collar
blue collar
guy
is like,
mentions how he had a job
political
for
affiliation.
a
it
mafia
matters.
guy
Yeah.
who declined because of that, and then the guy who did take the job ended up getting killed, basically
Crossfire.
proving Dante's point or whatever, right?
No,
Essentially.
proving Randall's point that it's a
Yeah, that,
those in it like that. Those are bystanders that are affected.
Innocent.
No,
by-
but he was. I thought the point was proven that the guys like he was saying, yeah, they were working on the thing, but they chose it knowing the politics,
knowing the danger.
Oh,
I guess.
I mean, I guess
That's
yeah.
how I took it
maybe
as.
I guess
wouldn't
it answers
gloss
both
over
of them
that.
and to some degree.
because he said that basically like that guy could have taken the job, but he said
Right.
no. He knew the ramifications,
Well,
and justifiably so.
You know what? I'm going to throw a counterpoint out here. I don't know in the Star Wars universe. Like, yes, you do know. Like, the empire is nothing to be fucked with, but like I also don't know how it's viewed though for people who like are employed by them. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, stormtroopers are like clones and stuff like that. But I'm saying like
it's
people.
the veil of you have the protection of the empire.
But the people who are working like, hey, I'm gonna drive the ship or whatever. Like, I don't know if they're so like. I don't know if it's like this is just a job mentality. Like, you're not really thinking of like, oh, I'm just driving over to destroy a planet. Like, I don't know if you dissociate from that because you're like, hey, I'm making 80K a year. My family's on board. We're good.
I think that's what I think this veil of protection. You're part of the empire. It's rather to be part of a moving force than something trying to oppose a moving force.
It's called like mass social gathering effect or something like that. It's like you're more likely to do horrific things if 50 other people are doing them. It's like
right. The moral conscience goes away or something like that. Yeah.
What's a mob effect? That's what it's called. I can't think of fucking words. So I think we're just good to get into quotes. I mean, there's a lot of them that I have. I mean, you know,
you guys go nuts with it.
I mean, he talks to Scott Mosier, who's the kind of snowball guy.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you want, Grizzly Adams? I mean, just straight up. I'm a disturbance. You're I don't know what that one's from necessarily. There's when the guy is doing his Trulies, the gum salesman is trying to get people to chew gum rather than smoke. There's just a guy in the background. He's just like, suck my big fat cock. I don't know why. It's just like you barely hear it, but it's fucking hilarious. I mean, he says this all the time, but I'm not even supposed to be here today.
That is definitely his catchphrase.
Let's see what else. Dante to Veronica is like, you suck that guy's dick? 37. My girlfriend sucked 37 dicks, and then he's like, in a row?
That was great. What a great drop in.
Dante and Veronica were talking, and then it's like, I'm making a broad generalization here, and she's like, you're making a generalization about broads? I was like, I don't know. I like that little reversal. Ryan, what you got?
This job would be fucking great if it wasn't for the fucking customers.
I hate all of them. Yeah. Which ones? All.
People say crazy things during sex. One time I called a girl mom.
Yeah, I got that one too.
Jesus Christ.
Of course, we kind of mentioned it, but hey, trying to suck any dick on your way through the parking lot.
The guy starts struggling.
He's like, hey, you get back here.
Yeah, you.
You hate people, but I love gatherings. Isn't it ironic?
They got Jay's cousin in from Russia, Olaf. He's in like a metal band
or trying to be.
And he starts saying, he's like, my love for you is like a truck berserker. Would you like some making fuck berserker? My love my love for you is ticking clock berserker. Would you like to suck my cock berserker? Which is like it's like 20, 30 seconds.
And Jay's constantly doing like dropping to his knees or that whole like, miming that throughout that. That's fucking funny.
The thing that works for Jay and Silent Bob is that the picture of them, the set of them against the background, and then every time like there's some music going over, which we'll talk about the soundtrack in a second, but there's these soundtracks going over that are usually again like pretty hardcore. You just have Jay doing his thing. Like I bet you Kevin Smith is like, all right, just be like crazy right now and just
let's go have fun with it.
Yeah, he does like a lot of like sexual things about
miming and all that.
Talking about is like suck that big fat cock, boys. Like,
and then he'd 180. What are you, gay? Like
there's a couple F-bombs, in there. The other F, you know what I mean? The old Jewish man who ends up dying in there is like he's like sweet at first. He's like, hey, can I use the bathroom? I got a medical condition. It doesn't work too good. I gotta go. Can I get some? And then he comes back. Can I trouble you for some?
It keeps on coming.
Can I use the softer toilet paper? It's like, oh, okay, just take it. Okay, go. It's like, can I get something to read in there? Yeah. And he's like, how about something in the back, which is the porno mags? Right. And then he brings the one. He's like, no, the one right behind him. He's like, they got bigger titties.
Bigger titties, yeah. That's just like a customer,
Yeah.
by the way. Like,
Just
give
keep
them an
going.
inch, they'll take a mile.
I like the trainer. Yeah, because you're out of shape. Trying to lift up
Oh,
the
my
mic.
God.
You're already losing your breath to lift in this gallon of milk. Like, and that individual, I think his name is Ernest O'Donnell. He was initially
Played Rick Darris, I think.
what's that? He was initially coined to do Randall's role, but
I don't know,
Ernest
I
didn't
like him.
prepare for this. He had the script for about 3 weeks, and then auditions came. He was still fumbling over it. Where Jeff, he didn't have the script, but he did he did an interpretation, and then he sat down with Kevin Smith, and they went over the entire script, and they were still trying to thumb him into that role, and even Kevin Smith's like, yeah, no, you're not a good Randall, like you can't be him. So like that was one of his friends, but even that, like, sorry, he had to make a tough call. You couldn't hit the character, and that's why I'm glad they went with Jeff. Jeff is witty as shit.
The
man.
chemistry between Dante and
yes,
Randall works
perfectly. Yeah.
Betsa quotes Randall just so fucked up. He's like, I'm not going to miss the biggest social event of the year, talking about this woman's wake that they're going to go to.
Yeah.
He's so weird and morbid.
It's like,
I love
my
it.
cousin, he broke his neck trying to suck his own dick. And he's like, what? Randall also, again, causes chaos at the funeral, or at the wake. He's like, wasn't my fault. He's like, you knocked the casket over, dude. Speaking of the gym guy, or the trainer, he's like, don't take this wrong, man, but I used to fuck her. Like, talking about his girl, like,
Veronica?
he's talking about Caitlin.
Oh, Caitlin, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I used to fuck her, like, back in the day while you guys were dating. I mean, the classic Jay, which I could have used more of. Noich, noich, noich. Smoking weed, doing coke,
drinking beers. Rolling fatties.
Well, that's in the second
I know.
one. Yeah. So, again, as it gets more, they're great. Jay also throws out this one. Is like, I had some girlfriends, too, but they all wanted some weed and shit. Shit, my grandma used to say, what's better, fucking a good plate with nothing on it? No, wait, I fucked that up. What's a good plate with nothing on it? And he's like, meaning? He's like, I don't know. She was senile. She used to piss herself, shit herself. Anything else, Ryan? None? Okay, I'm going to keep going. Dude, I mean, this gets very graphic. I will say this, but I don't know why this one was kind of funny. He's like, all the shit that Dante and Randall go through. And Dante is like, what's your encore? You're going to anally rape my mother while pouring sugar in my gas tank? He goes real off the deep end. I mean,
I dig it, though. I mean, that suits
funny.
his character.
It's pretty funny, but it's like, it's fucking way. It's crazy. All right. Quotes are done. Moving on. Sorry, I had a good time.
You're good.
That was
on
good.
track.
You're good.
I got some. You guys got anything?
No.
Okay. So
I didn't really hear it. There's a couple of songs that play.
yeah, not too
It was
many.
kind of in the background at most.
But
yeah.
Clerks, I mean, that's the theme song. It's by Love Among Freaks. And this is like to me, it's a solid album. They had Chewbacca, which is like a Star Wars-based song by Supernova. Chili, Shooting Star, which is the...
Oh, yeah, like a different version of it, though.
it's by Golden Smog, but who did the original? Bad Company. Leaders and Followers by Bad Religion.
That's right.
Violent Mood Swings by Stabbing Westward. And then Can't Even Tell a Soul by Asylum. So like there's some pretty decent band. I wonder if this after they got more funding is maybe where the music kind of went, because like a couple of these bands I feel like are super indie, under the radar type shit, which is perfect for this movie. But yeah, I just wanted to mention those real quick. Let's keep it train rolling. Just gonna mention two quick maybe cast and all that. We talked a lot about Kevin Smith just being crazy, but like his production company View Askew, I mean they've been doing a bunch of shit there. And then the small cast, I think you guys would agree the small cast works. Two main really guys that like these, maybe like we'll expand it to Veronica and Caitlin, more Veronica, but like just like 3 or 4 main characters. Everybody else is kind of ancillary. Jay and Silent Bob obviously make more frequent appearances, but in reality, they're like pop-ins. There's not too much dialogue between them.
No, agreed. I think it works well. And one thing that I want to mention, and maybe this is specific to him, but I'm sure it's happened before, when he was filming in the framework, he'll do the half body up two people in frame. You see a lot of those scenes that maybe he popularized, but he, that was one thing that I got from that documentary. But I was like, you know what? Now that I kind of recall it and I watched through it again, I'm like, you get a lot of that. But it keeps, I guess, the viewer like me focused on the dialogue rather than a lot of noise that's going around in the background, or a lot of noise.
So you watched a documentary about the making of the film?
Yeah, I've seen this film a bunch, but I was like, you know what? I want to dive a little deeper, kind of understand how this came to be.
I mean, again, I think you can especially go super deep into this entire world because, again, there's so much also like snippets and, clips of people promoting the movie and talking about shit. Like Kevin Smith, I believe still does a podcast. Don't quote me on that, but like he's got a podcast where he does this shit. He very popular with like the 90s where he would like go to like a movie theater, film would play, and then he would like do a Q&A after.
Yeah.
I know he did a lot of those. Aaron, as I said in the beginning, like really showed me this whole Kevin Smith, like brought me into this world, dude. He's got some stories. I know he will be on to do some of the other Kevin Smith movies, but he's got a good story about Jason Mewes that he met at not a Comic-Con, but like a, movie con type of thing. So I'll tease that for later. But
that's fun.
Can't
wait to hear about it.
It's pretty fucking funny. But in terms of like the movie itself, like I personally don't have any recasting. I don't have any sequels, prequels, or spinoffs because they really have kept in that world, Clerks 1, Clerks 2, Clerks 3. I think that's kind of beat to death.
And they had an animated series.
Series. So I don't have anything. I just want to throw it out. Do you guys have any spinoffs, sequels, prequels?
I just wrote. I think it could work as a TV show, even though they already did that as an animated.
They did animated,
but maybe like I don't know, just do the.
I think it'd be hard though at a certain point when they age out.
Throw out a premise. Go, you're pitching it now. Go. Shut up.
Just literally just do what you. Just like
you're saying the same movie, but just put it into a series.
But just do like an everyday like different days of different, and you can expand a little more with the characters. I guess you can go outside the store. Obviously, that could be like more of like the base of operations, if you will. Like like Seinfeld's like Jerry's apartment.
Right.
Okay.
Like
the store is like we see a lot of the time, but other times they go off and do other things. I don't know.
It's funny that you brought up Seinfeld though, because I always kind of thought, and definitely when I revisited this, I definitely felt that this has a Seinfeld-esque theme of like it is just following a guy through his normal day. It can be at times really a show about nothing. Guy pops in, hey, how much is this? Blah blah blah. Yeah. Okay, so like I do compare kind of some of these, at least to Seinfeld and that show. I think as a show where you keep getting multiple things, I think that it would tend to get boring because because it's so relatable to real life. Like, I feel like you would have to up the ante and keep going.
I could see maybe a few seasons,
even
but like maybe 3 topping.
Well, I'm saying like you kind of already started at fucking a dead guy. Where do you go from there with that still being kind of relatable?
So is that what, I guess, are you trying to up the shock value? Because
I'm saying I don't think it would work to then go and be like, okay, what's next for Dante? Like, is he going to get hit by a car? And like
the only prequel I'd ever want to get into is I'm assuming Dante and Randall became friends when Dante might have been in a tough situation where Randall was like, dude, these guys are pricks, and like comes to his defense, and like him being witty kind of just destroys them mentally. And maybe the guys, like, I would love to know the merging of Randall and Dante. That's the only thing
I think that they were high school buddies because they said that Dante's 22 in this, which we'll get to picking this in a little bit though. But I think it's like they were high school. I would actually be on board with that. A high school
like a high school related
version of
Randall and Dante start to like become friends because
as long as they get the mannerisms down, I think it
could work
well.
Yeah.
And then you add in like Jay and Silent Bob and some
a young Jay and a young Silent.
Like Jay and Silent Bob are like fucking 13 selling weed or something like that.
Yeah, being 22. So this job technically was supposed to be after him not going to college. So call yourself 17 or 18, and then if to get to 22, I think is a stretch. But yeah.
So Ryan, you had the switcheroo. You already said it.
I didn't say switcheroo. You
you
didn't ask me.
You guys got switcheroos?
Yeah.
Okay, what you got?
Well, I'm thinking of outside of this universe because obviously all these movies bleed together and then the same thing. So outside of that, I would love if they could cross over with the It's Always Sunny gang. I think that would be work out. Maybe they just, I don't know how. Maybe they come into the store for something and
I could
whatever.
see it.
I don't
It's
know.
At
It
least,
could be
it's
like
at least plausible
a scene,
for sure.
you know, or
Yeah.
something. You know, Charlie and Matt come in for some bullshit.
Well, they're also like kind of like trashy people.
Right.
These people are trashy. I think it works well. Yeah, I think that could work.
Because that was kind of the vibes I'm getting when I'm watching this. You know, like very like
You know what would be a fun cameo, and this is what it would be in only this. We've seen The Sopranos. That's based in Jersey. This was filmed in Leonard, New Jersey. That'd be cool if you have AJ when he's a punk ass high schooler in that phase outside of the convenience store and have it be the quick stop.
AJ
That's all I'm saying.
AJ
It's like
buys weed from Jay.
like buys weed from Jay, or is like him and his buddies are fucking around or messing with Dante as he's trying to open the store because he had that kind of asshole phase in him. That's the only like little crossover. I think that would be just kind of a nod.
Well, yeah, you're going just which I kind of hadn't thought of, just like location.
Yeah.
Like, there's simply this show takes place here. This takes place here. I like it. I don't know how much.
It wouldn't be a film, no. It'd be more.
I
Of
don't know
like,
how much you can get out of that beyond that, but I'll just say, like, in terms of the universe, I do find it very difficult to get out of when you do 5-6 movies. There's intertwining plot lines and stuff like that. I do find it like you could probably branch off into some. I can't really think of anything so far.
I like how they closed Clerks out though. Clerks, their final Clerks.
I haven't seen Clerks 3.
Go check it out. I think you'll
but
enjoy
it's-
it.
Neither of them.
I like Clerks 2. There's definitely some good parts in it. I heard Clerks 3 was great. I haven't gotten around to it.
It gets a little wild, but I like the way it closes. That's all.
I would have watched Clerks 2, but it wasn't on Paramount Plus.
And that's also a big part of it is like these movies now are pretty far removed and not, again, like a huge draw. It's not a fucking like Avengers movie where they're like, yeah, we can stream this. We'll get,
A lot of it's because Miramax owned the rights with Harvey Weinstein
and
all
that's
that.
also,
Yep.
yeah.
Which is why Dogma hasn't been available to stream
It's
anywhere.
on YouTube.
Well, you gotta
A legal,
own it.
a legitimate.
Yeah.
Right, that's fair. A legal copy.
But it is coming to theaters, I'll say, this year.
It
Is
is
it?
a thing
Yeah.
though where
we're going to
that's the
that.
benefit of getting that physical media at the time.
You're right.
to
I keep
go-
shitting on you, but physical media, you're right.
But I'm just saying, like, that's why I have DVDs. Is like this is
You mean your brother has
And
DVDs?
the,
I have DVDs. bitch.
The Dogma one is a very expensive one to acquire.
Yeah, it
but
goes for-
I think they are going to finally re-release it on like 4K.
I hope they do.
But up until then, it's been like a diamond in the rough, if you will. Like you can't find.
They
it,
only
anywhere.
released so many of it because of, I think, like different.
Yeah,
A lot of different companies were pissed off. Let's just leave it at that.
like it'd be like $100 at least to get.
I think
or
so,
like
yeah.
somewhere like that.
Damn. All right, so I just got Picky Nits left.
Okay,
So-
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So, does the video store and the convenience store, are they owned by the same guy?
Yes.
Or so they are owned by the same guy?
I don't know if it's specifically stated, but I would venture a guess that there's a person that owns both of them, but then they're managed by different people. Like there's a manager of this, like because Dante's not a manager; he's just like
He's just a worker. But like,
but he references the manager a lot. Randall, however, doesn't really mention a manager, like or a boss or whatever. It seems like he's just the guy. Like
He's the
every day of-
manager.
every day of the week. But like again, it's like two businesses back to back. They are like so tightly connected. I don't think like the books are done together or anything crazy, but it seems logical that one guy would be like, "Hey, we own the Quick Stop and this right next door.
Right, that makes sense.
Double the profit."
like, are they like coworkers or like
I mean, again, they're coworkers divided by.
like in a sense they're like neighboring businesses, but are they actual like? I was
If
just
they're,
I don't think they interact on a business level, and I think they're just friends that ended up being like, "Yo, we
we work next to each other.
work next to each other. This is
Yeah.
dope. Best case scenario."
like, I'll pop over. We'll check out.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Randall obviously. fucking
Randall
is-
could give a shit.
He's in the store for a total of 15 minutes throughout the
But
day.
like for example, like Dante doesn't work at the video store, and
I don't think so.
And Randall he just covers for him sometimes.
I think he covers, but that's not like a actual thing
No,
that they
yeah.
did.
Right.
Like if Dante's boss was there, I don't think Randall would be like, "Yo, I'm just gonna pop in and fuck around."
Okay, I kept wondering that throughout the whole movie. I'm like, are they?
I do.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was like, are they owned by the same person? Are they connected? What's the deal? Like,
I would also just throw out that I just thought of it like could have easily brought in somebody like an older actor, like maybe like an Arlie Ermy or something like that in terms of like a recasting. as like the manager, like a hard ass manager that
I
comes
like
in.
it. Yeah.
And he's like, "What the fuck are you guys?
What about a
doing?
Brian Cox?
You
too?
two fucking yourself over."
I like it.
All right. Piggy Nits. I mentioned that Jay and Silent Bob didn't really get a lot of meat on the bone in this one. They're great for the moments that they pop in. Obviously, Silent Bob works when he doesn't fucking talk. And in the future movies, the next movies, and Mallrats and stuff like that, they definitely utilize his facial expressions a lot more and does a lot more shit.
He does a great job with that.
They don't specify the type of cigarettes in it.
They just say a pack of cigarettes.
Well,
yeah.
because it was a royalty thing, they didn't want to
Right.
get sued by the thing. I find it odd though because there's like a Gatorade bottle. There's like a lot of
candy.
the candy is branded and in the frame. I get that you don't want to get sued by them, but like it's weird that you have this branding, but you don't like. And then other things like Hostess, that was X'd out as like Dave's Cakes or something like
Right.
that. So it's like a little iffy. I'm like, to me, like for an indie movie, you're like all or nothing. You're like, don't use anything. We're not going to get sued by anybody. Hey, do you want sports drink? You know, or
I guess
hey,
I
do you
think
want
most company
Goobity-Goo?
songs, you're not like, hurting their brand or tarnishing. Like, I think for them,
yeah.
they'll, and this is an indie film that never had any, like, outside of a handful of people on their initial, like, it developed into something. And at that point, I think with Merrimack's backing, they wanted to be all in,
I don't know the branding laws of stuff. I just figured that like if you're using the product and making money off it, I feel like the companies would come after you. Like Gatorade, like did they get sued by Gatorade because they're like, hey, we don't want our product associated with
someone trying to
drug
steal
deals
or,
and fucking a dead person. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So that was just kind of like a little continuity thing, not a big deal. Ryan, you mentioned it, playing on the roof. What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, that was weird. Well, also like the piggyback on that the whole time. I think even Randall kind of calls him out like, "Oh, I can't close the store," but you did close the store and you played on the roof. "Oh, I can't close the store," but then you went to the funeral, so you could close this. I mean, you're not supposed to, but you did multiple times.
I think
mean,
Dante is just easily persuaded to go like, oh, and again, a very remorseful person saying sorry for a bunch of shit. Not necessarily sorry, but like definitely like apologetic about this or like bending to the knee kind of like anytime somebody, like any customer was like the Jewish guy, hey, can I get a magazine? No, that one. Okay, get the fuck out. Like, I don't care.
You could steamroll him, and
Right,
that's the thing.
right,
Like he never, like he eventually stands up for himself to some degree, but it's like you're trying to put your feet in both, like on each side of the fence, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking pick a side at this point.
I mean, I think that plays into the character very well.
It does.
It makes it work.
I put Dante kind of sucks. I like him, but he kind of sucks. Like,
Yeah.
and I put specifically with Caitlyn and the Veronica thing.
Sure.
Like, I know it's a character and it's what, like, you're an idiot, dude. Caitlyn sucks. Like you were there for 5 years. She cheated on you multiple times. You said that one time you went into a dark room and she thought you were another guy banging you, and then was surprised to find out it was you, and then she's gonna get married to this guy, and then comes back.
Yeah, there's no future
on
with
a
this girl. I
whim,
get it,
and then is like, oh, let's do it. But then you got Veronica, who like clearly is way better. She cares about him, brought him lasagna, wants to get him back in school, hangs out with him at the store, helped him out with the cigarette guy in the beginning with the fire extinguisher. And he's just an idiot. But I kind of, at the same time though, it's not like it's believable. Like you could just be hung up on somebody for whatever reason, and
that's it.
But it's just when I was watching, I'm just like, God, I was just getting annoyed by him. Like
I feel like it's a high school crush thing.
Yeah.
Where they're like, it's his first love, and they just is like, I can't let her go.
Nah,
Even though, I mean,
yeah.
dude, you see the name as getting married. Like, granted, okay, then she comes back. Now you're like kind of confused or whatever. But as soon as I see that you're getting married, I'm like, okay, well, that's over. Like, it's
For most people,
I
dude,
just-
this guy has a moral compass that is constantly just shifting.
And it's not like what's her appeal to me if I'm I guess like they have like a history
they
together,
have sexual chemistry too.
But like I don't think she's like much more like I don't think she's like
Attractive,
way
yeah.
more attractive than Veronica. I probably think Veronica, she probably looks a little better, to be
it's like
honest.
90s is rough.
Right, they both have kind of like a similar look. It's not like, oh man, this.
But no, the girl like Veronica, who's obviously concerned about him, like I'd rather have a girl that's like kind of got my back and supports me in different ways, rather than someone who I know is only going to be there for a shadow of a
like
moment.
brings lasagna to you.
I mean,
at
I guess
work.
that's-
that'd be dope.
Yeah, I guess
That'd be sweet.
that's part of it though. He's 22, and that's just like
He's young, yeah. They're young and dumb. I get it.
The last thing I got is just a couple flubs in the lines, and you could definitely tell that like a low budget film. We're not taking it again.
Right.
Just-
They didn't have the.
We're using it.
So, some of these
fine.
people are just like my friends; they're not actors.
I mean, for the most part, I don't think anybody was like exceptionally where I was like, God, this is terrible. I just have a little bit of a like, I get it. Like you can't really take like too many takes on like bullshit line. It was always like other people. It wasn't like the main people ever.
Right.
But I just look at it like you should have just reshot that 1-2 second line to go, okay, we're out of that. And then honestly, without those flubs, I look at this as like almost a perfect movie. Like, but go ahead, Ryan.
I thought most of the people were pretty good and gave an authentic, like a real life feel to it. The only two people I thought that were kind of not great were Val, you mentioned the workout guy, whatever his name was.
The trainer, yeah.
Trainer, he was kind of a meh, like not a great actor. And
That
you
was
can
one of the
see
flubs.
why he was not the guy, as you said. And then
Right.
the sister of Caitlin also was in the same scene with them. One of
Yeah,
the lines, she
yeah.
kind of had a weak reading of it. I forget, like,
No, I agree.
"Oh, you're Dante," or like
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just like that wasn't a great take. It kind of made me like The Room or something. But other than that, I
The
don't-
Room with who? Who's
like
in
the
it?
Tommy Wiseau, like some of the acting.
Oh,
in
yeah,
that,
yeah,
or-
yeah.
I'll say opposite of picking it. They got rid of the original ending, which we'll YouTube
Yes,
together.
I was gonna say I was gonna
Um,
bring that up.
So that was, I think, a good decision
Did you know
by
about
one
that?
of the people, the critics that saw the indie film that they had on Sunday in the middle or at 11 a.m. He said, he called him back. He's like, "There's only one thing that's hanging up your movie, and it's that ending."
The original ending was Dante got
Gets
shot.
Oh,
Was going to
shit.
get robbed at the store and got killed by the end of it.
And they dropped that scene
And
for.
And I guess that was supposed to kind of to go with what he talked about with Empire, how there's like life always ends on a down note or
On a down,
whatever,
yeah.
and that was kind of part of it. But yeah, the one
Yeah.
guy, the executive or whoever, was like, "Yeah, that's not really an ending that's going to
Yeah.
do
It's
well."
not gonna
He
fly.
said, you created an ending just to create an ending, whereas when he walked out that fancy, he's like, "That's it, like that's how you should have."
I honestly don't think the ending. I think the ending could be better for this movie. I think it's better than the ending that would have been.
Yeah.
But it kind of just ends randomly. It's like, oh, that's it. That's the movie. But
I kind of enjoy that though.
it's not like terrible, but it's not my favorite either. I would
Sure,
say.
okay, all right, I'm good with it.
So we
Yeah,
go
but
into
let's rate it.
ratings.
Yeah.
Stream it, own it, and all that jazz.
Yeah.
I'll
Bobby?
kick it off.
Someone
Own this
started.
movie. I'm a big Kevin Smith fan, so maybe that's pushing me in one direction. But I think this is definitely something that maybe changed the way that we, think about movies too. This came out in '94, but it's like everything was, bigger budget, had, this immense storyline, a ton of characters. I was like, this felt, just more in my lane. So, like I said, I think it was. Totally epic for the time for being something different. I give it a 9.4. It's way up there. There's a little bit, that could be done better, but I liked it in black and white. Really cool movie.
All right.
I also put a own. I don't own it. I would. I love that. I love dialogue. Love the realism and the relatability to this movie. And it's like the first time I saw it. I'm gonna go 8.1. I thought it was really good. Like I said, I thought it was a solid. It's not a lot to it, but what the movie does have is very enjoyable.
Okay. All right. This is an own for me. I do own it. The very few picking nits for me in that, and again knowing that it is what it is. Like it's not trying to be something different. I go 9.9.
I like it.
This is definitely one of those up there that I'm like, it is definitely a barometer of my liking of you. If you're gonna look at this movie and you go, this movie is the worst piece, as I said, kind of outside while we were doing our pre-production meeting, people that like I know people that went to this movie, saw that it was black and white, and completely dismissed
Checked
it.
out.
Completely dismissed
That bothers
it. Going,
me. It's like you're not even open to it.
This movie is atrocious based on this is what they did with this. On top of it, the dialogue is extremely witty. There's a specific cadence to it. And if you can't get on board with that, again, knowing that this is what the movie is, it focuses on this, that is also a thing where I'm like, it's not good. You don't have a great taste in movies in terms of, again, seeing this movie going like, you don't got to love it, but I don't want to hear this is the worst piece of shit movie out there, because it's not. It's a well-done movie for the budget that it had, and you make this movie today with a $100 million budget. I mean,
that would be unreal with $100 million.
I don't know.
I think you could pull a movie like this today for under $1 million.
I don't know if it would
Easy.
be better or it would be shittier. It's very tough to tell.
I think more money would
better.
make it shittier. I think this needs to be low budget.
I think the guerrilla filmmaking of it lends to my liking
Thank you,
of it.
yeah.
Like the
Agreed.
realism of it.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, just like, and even though my score wasn't a high as you guys, like for me, for seeing a movie the first time, that's a pretty good score. Like I never, like
anything in the 8s is
right.
yeah,
like
good.
I just couldn't get up there with some of the.
I'm excited that you want to see more of his work now.
I do. I mean, it was good stuff. I enjoyed it.
So that was Clerks. We have who's on the next movie? Ryan's on the next movie. What
All
do
right,
we got?
boys. Well, I got my choice here. I'm gonna start. Not normally. If all things were equal, I probably would do the sequel. But I think we need to start with the original. So I am going to go with Rush Hour.
Yeah, I mean,
wonderful choice. Excellent.
I would have had to veto.
Oh, I know, I know. But I was just saying,
Rush Hour 2's. I think
all things being equal, I like the second one a little more.
I do too.
That's fine.
But
you,
you got to start with the first one, and it's also a classic. So we're gonna go Rush Hour. Chris Tucker,
pick.
Jackie Chan,
Excellent.
and it's streaming on Tubi, so we can all watch
Fuck
it.
yeah!
Fantastic.
All right. So for the Journeymen Lounge podcast, we just got a great little pod there. Good things are coming.
Good things.
But yeah, we got this. We got some the 80s movies we're gonna get into. Draft is happening.
Well, it's Val Kilmer before,
Val Kilmer,
right?
and then we'll hit
Val
80s.
Kilmer,
Yep.
and then 80s, and all this types of shit. Album reviews, we're changing it up. We're doing things. I might be back golfing in a little bit. We got some good news.
NFL draft.
I'm pretty pumped. We got some good things cooking.
I got some irons in the
The
fire.
100th episode, I keep getting ideas in my head. So like we're gonna fucking blow that up. And,
Can't believe we hung out 100 times. All right,
and do
boys,
that
I like
shit.
it.
So yeah, hey, for Woj
and Ryan.
And Bobby.
we'll talk to y'all next week.